People are starting to say that something feels different with Hermes lately, but this does not mean Hermes is doing badly as a business. Even last year, when LVMH and Kering were having a hard time with sales, Hermes was still growing. Among the luxury all brands, Hermes is still one of the strongest names in the world. But the problem is that the small warning signs are starting to appear. One of the clearest signs is the resale price. Let's look at the Birkin bag and the Kelly bag, the two most famous products from Hermes. In 2022, these bags were trading in the resale market at about 2.2 times the retail price. But by the end of the last year, the premium had dropped to about 1.4 times the retail price. The resale premium shows real supply and real demand in the market. If the premium drops a lot, it means supply may be going up, demand may be going down, or both may be happening at the same time. For a luxury brand, this is not a good sign. We already have seen this with other luxury brands. LVMH Kering's brand started to show problems after resale premiums began to fall. Gucci and other luxury brands went through a similar pattern, and now these same patterns seems to showing up at Hermes. The luxury business is not about selling as much as possible. In many cases, it is about selling less. When a product is hard to get, people want it more. This is the key idea behind the luxury brand. So every luxury brand has to balance two things: keeping product rare and still growing sales. Very difficult. How well a brand controls that balance can decide its long-term value. If we look at brands that are struggling now, Burberry and Gucci have been hit hard by weaker consumer demand. LVMH is facing a similar problem. People keep saying that Louis Vuitton does not feel the same as before. In the past, the brand grew strongly by selling a lot to China's middle class. But as it sold more and more, the brand started to feel less special. People have been saying for more than 10 years that the Louis Vuitton monograms has become too common. And now, after all that, the impact is starting to show more clearly. For a long time, Hermes looked different from another other brands. Hermes controlled supply very carefully. It also had a strong image that not everyone could buy its best product. With Louis Vuitton or Chanel, if you wait in line, you may be able to buy what you want. But with Hermes, waiting in line does not mean you can easily buy a Birkin or Kelly. This system helped Hermes keep its product rare for a long time. It also helped protect the brand's value. But now Hermes may not be as safe as before. Sales and profit margins are still growing, but results have often been weaker than what the market expected. At the same time, Hermes is slowly increasing supply. In September 2025, the company opened its 24th leather workshop. It also opened another workshop in May. It plans to keep adding one or two new workshops in the coming years. So in the long run, supply is moving higher. The problem is simple. Supply is rising, but demand is not as strong as before. China is especially important here. Since the 2020s, luxury demand in China was weakened. This has hurt brands like LVMH, Chanel, and Kering. Many people thought Hermes would be different because its main customers are not middle class buyers, but very rich customers. The idea was that these buyers would keep buying Hermes even when the market slowed down. But now, demand is looking weaker across Asia, including China. There is also another issue: the Middle East. Because of recent tension around Iran, luxury spending in the Middle East may also come under pressure. The Middle East makes up around 8% of the global luxury market. That is similar to the size of Japan's luxury market. So if this region slows down, it can also hurt overall sales. So right now, Hermes is in a tricky position. Demand is slowing, but supply is slowly rising. Even if Hermes tries to control supply carefully, there are limits. Another important issue is the product line. The three signature icons are Birkin, Kelly, and Constance. These are the main symbols of the brand, but there may be limit to how much Hermes can grow with only these products. In the past, the Louis Vuitton monogram bag was also a very powerful symbol, but over time it became too common. Hermes did not sell as much as Louis Vuitton, but it has still increased production slowly over many years. Because of that, some people now say that the Birkin and Kelly do not feel as rare as they do before. If we look at Hermes' result, leather goods are still strong. They still make up a big part of sales and growth is still solid. But other areas are starting to look weaker. Perfume, beauty, and clothing are slowing down. Watches have already shown negative growth in some periods. This matters because of the way Hermes sells its products. To buy leather to buy leather goods like Birkin or Kelly, customers often need to buy other products first. For Hermes, this system is important because it helps sell other items too. But if demand for perfume, beauty, clothing, and watches slows down, that can also hurt the company's overall growth. In other words, people may still want a Birkin or Kelly, but fewer people may be willing to buy many extra products just to get access to these bags. In that case, some customers may choose to buy from resale market instead. Hermes is trying to control this. The company can limit repeat purchases or try to block buyers who are only buying for resale. But once many products are already in the market, control becomes harder. There is also a limit to price increases. From the late 2010s to the mid 2020s, luxury growth did not come only from selling more products. A big part of growth came from higher prices. Chanel, Louis Vuitton, and Hermes all raised the price a lot. In luxury, where supply cannot grow forever, rising prices is often the easiest way to grow sales. But prices have now become too high, too expensive for many new buyers. It has become harder for new customers to enter the luxury market. Because of this, demand and desire for luxury goods may not be as strong as before. This is why the market is reacting more sharply to falling resale prices, weaker than expected result, and slower demand in Asia. Of course, it is too early to say that Hermes is in crisis. Hermes is still a very strong brand. It will likely remain strong for a long time. But in the past, Hermes looked almost separate from the rest of the luxury market. Now it is starting to feel the same pressure as other luxury brands. The luxury business has one basic problem. Selling too much can hurt brand. If a luxury brand sells too much, the brand starts to feel less special. So over the long term, luxury brands sometimes need to control sales. But Hermes is also in a public company. LVMH is also a public company too. Public companies cannot ignore sales and growth because shareholders want growth. Hermes is different from other luxury companies because the founding family still has strong control. This can help the company focus more on long-term brand value instead of short-term numbers. But as a public company, Hermes is still fully cannot fully avoid pressure from the market. This is one of the main problems facing the luxury industry today. Hermes may simply be reaching that point later than other brands because it is such a strong brand. From the outside, luxury may look like an industry that can rise forever, but in reality, it is more sensitive to the economy than people think. This became even more true as luxury brands started to target middle class buyers in rich countries like in China. The Birkin Kelly are also much more widely known than before. In the end, if Hermes wants to build a new growth story, it needs new products. It needs something beyond the Birkin, Kelly, and Constance. It needs another product that people truly want. That could come from leather goods or it could come from another category. But making a new bestseller outside the leather goods is very hard. Hermes depend heavily on leather products, so this is an even bigger challenge. This is why the company's design direction and creativity strategy will become more important. Rising prices and controlling supply will not enough forever. Hermes need to create new desire. To be clear, I'm not saying that Hermes is in crisis, but it is also clear that something is starting to appear in the Hermes brand too. Resale premiums are falling, Asia demand is weaker, supply is slowly rising. Some small product lines are slowing, and price increases may be reaching their limit. If this continues, Hermes may not fully free from the same problem that other luxury brands have already faced. This is not just a story about one brand. It may be a sign that the entire whole luxury brand is entering the new phase. Thank you for watching my video today. See you in the next video.